Vadd here. This is the complete beginner's guide to getting started in ARK Survival Ascended. I recommend changing these ARK graphic settings. Go into your settings, click Advanced, disable menu music. Look, now we can hear each other. Isn't that nice? Next, under General, we're going to go to the Video tab. Then we're going to select the windowed mode and make sure it's on full screen. Uncheck the max frame rate. Unlock the frame rate. In addition, go to the graphic preset and set this lower than what you think your machine can handle. Select Start. Go into the Create or Resume Game. We are a single player story mode ARK. We're going to choose our difficulty. Select Hard. Make sure we save. On the Game Rules tab, there's several tabs. Here they're all together. Take your screenshots. I recommend these ARK single player story settings for the beginner. These are really beginner friendly settings. They're going to give you a lot of flexibility to be successful in a very challenging environment. If you're a more advanced player, you can tweak these a little bit. I really recommend, if you're a beginner, these are great single player story ARK settings. Moving from the game rules section to the advanced section, there's more settings we're going to be tweaking. These settings are designed for a true beginner. I've removed some of the frustration and grind while also giving a small buff to the ARK players' survivability. These are really going to be just a very approachable way to start your first journey as a single player story mode into ARK Survival Ascended. These are my recommended settings for ARK Survival Ascended as a beginner. Remember to save your settings so that all your hard work doesn't get wasted. Go ahead and select your map and then select single player. We're going to spawn in at wherever it says easy. We're on the easy spawn. This is our first look in game and we're not dead. That's always a good start. Sometimes you get killed on spawn and you have to go from there and reset yourself. So we're going to look around, just get a second to get a bearing for where we are, what our environment is. Nothing's immediately going to jump us. I'm going to turn on the enhanced HUD just so I can see the numbers. I like to kind of have that little sense. And then the top left corner kind of gives me a countdown for what day I'm on, what time it is. We have 3 big goals: level up, survive the night, tame a dodo. Those are our 3 beginner goals. We can level up by harvesting resources. We can level up by killing things. We can level up by crafting things. Pretty much everything we do gives us some amount of experience points. Right now, we're going to go up to the closest bushes and just try and pick up whatever we can. These bushes are giving us lots and lots of good berries and fiber. Berries are nutrients we can use to eat. We can also use berries to tame some of our friends. Our first level up points we're going to go ahead and put into our melee damage. We're going to put some of our berries on our toolbar and we're going to work towards taming this dodo. Most ARK tames are knockout tames. This means you need to assert your dominance and beat them down until they are unconscious. This gives you an opportunity to befriend them. Notice here we have an unconscious tame. We know that this tame likes to eat berries. This is a dodo, so we're going to give it berries. If it was a carnivore, we should really be offering that carnivore meat. Every tame has a preferred food. We're going to name this dodo Dodo Male. You don't have to name it Dodo Male. Name it anything you like. It just immediately lets me know I've tamed my first dodo. We've got our first level up. We just need to be working towards surviving the night. Let's go ahead and take our dodo to somewhere that might be a little less open, somewhere that might have a little bit more safety to it. I feel like right here is just very wide open and it looks like there's a little hill over there that might have a little bit more security to it. I'm not sure, but there's only one way to find out. We need to explore. We're on the hill, and it would seem that, yes, it's a little quieter over here. There do seem to be some sharks in the water. Whenever we level up, we gain engram points. These points can be spent on learning new skills. So, we're going to go and punch some trees, and this is going to be an opportunity to work towards our next 3 goals. We need to get some better tools, we need to build a shelter, and we need to work on maybe getting a bed as well. Having punched down a tree, we have what we need to go into our crafting tab to select the pickaxe. This stone pick is going to allow us to work on harvesting from rock nodes and metal nodes. Okay. Notice we pulled down our pick from our inventory, not the crafting tab. We want to make sure we actually have the pick we crafted, not the craft prompt. So with the pick in our hand, we have an opportunity here to harvest these rocks we could not before. Uh-oh, we've got a naughty dodo. Once you tame a creature, they immediately are default set to follow you, as well as attack whatever you're fighting. And that's not really what we want from our dodo. So we're going to get a couple of rocks and get some flint so that we can build a hatchet. This is our next main tool. This tool is going to allow us to harvest slightly different resources than the pick. We'll also craft up a few more spear points, put some of our attribute points into weight and or health or stamina. Also, tools need to be repaired. I know this is kind of a lot. We crafted a few spears on purpose because sometimes they break, and if you throw them, then you don't have a spear in your hand anymore. So, it's a lot going on at once. Take a deep breath. We're crafting tools. We're going to get our dodo kind of back to our little island where we're kind of camping out right now. We're going to go ahead and pick up Mr. Dodo here and take him back to our base. We'd love to get a male and female dodo so we could start getting eggs, but that's not where we're at right now. So we're going to go into the dodo menu here. Just hold down your button prompt. And we're going to tell him not to move and to not attack things unless he is attacked. So Mr. Dodo here is going to hang tough on the island. It's a little bit off the ground from kind of the other zone across the water, so we're feeling pretty good about this. Now, we have a hatchet, we have a pick. Say it with me. Hatchet for hide, pick for meat. Hatchet for wood, pick for thatch. It doesn't rhyme. If you thought it was going to rhyme, I don't apologize. It just doesn't. Let me know when you saw that we're about to die. You should have seen it by now that something's about to kill us. And if you didn't see it, that's okay, because really you shouldn't have seen it, because there's just something you're going to learn over time, what dinos are dangerous and how to stop them from a distance. The raptor, I saw the feathers peek through the grass, and I said, great, we're dead. We're going to spawn back in the easy zone. We're going to kind of reset ourselves, calm down, cool down, and get ourselves back together. Where are we? We don't know. We're going to look around. We're going to take a second, get our bearings. We have this nice little death marker. The problem is the raptors are between us and our body. When you die, if you get back to your body, there's a body bag or your body there, and that's going to have your tools and whatever was kind of on your inventory when you died. So I don't know if I can kind of juke these raptors. I'm not very fast, and they are. So the raptors have a weakness, and that is they're afraid of the sharks in the water more than they are hungry to eat meat. So we're going to take advantage of that weakness, because maybe we can just sneak by and get back to our body. If they've eaten our body, we can still get our inventory from our bag. So that's the big plan. We're going to head towards that death marker, kind of keep our eye on the left for any big sharks or other mean aquatic creatures. Just try and get our way around these raptors and just try and stay calm. Everything's kind of gone wrong here, as all of our tools are gone. Our berries are gone. We have no food. We still have the skills we've learned, right? We're going to go ahead and grab this bag, which has all of our stuff, transfer all, and just swim away. Goodbye, raptors. I don't want to lead you back to my dodo, because Dodo's looking like a snack back there. However, if we can just sneak by before a shark gets us, I'll be very happy, because there's always a shark around here somewhere. Look at that. You see the fin? You see the fin? The shark was like, oh, who's splashing in my pond, sir? This is the ocean on the island. Get out of here. You're not welcome. Thank you. So, we've escaped the raptors by using a little bit of know-how, a little bit of smarts, a little bit of patience. We have our tools back, which feels really, really good, but we are in kind of some danger. Like I said, there are some sharks in these waters, which I don't really love. There's a chance we could try and kind of poke them out or make enough spears that we could, you know, throw spears at them, but right now I think it's better for us just to leave the sharks alone, as they are very tanky often at this time and probably kill us in one bite. Oh, another shark. Man, they probably smell dodo. Probably smells delicious. Get out of here and stay out. Nobody likes you right now, okay? It's a beginner guide. Hey. Now on the left, okay, real quick, we want to look at our inventory here. We're going to go ahead and spend some of our skill points on this engram for thatch foundations, a sleeping bag, and the other parts of building a thatch house. Everything gets built on foundations. It's a very important mechanic. Now the issue here is that on our left, we have some birds in the air that are a little bit predatory birds. We don't really want to mess with the ichthyornis, okay? They're kind of like little pelican looking birds. They're very nasty. The raptors on our right and the megalodons, the big sharks in the water. So we've kind of run just to the left of the kind of the main rocks by our base, so we can try and just chop down a tree. Raptors are directly in front of us and a little to the right, but they can't quite see us here. We're just under the hill. We're going to chop down this tree, bring it back to base, and build our first foundation. Foundations are the cornerstone, the capstone, the keystone. You build everything on foundation. That's just about it. There's some things you can place down outside of a foundation, but it's good to get down your first foundation. It's a milestone as we continue to work towards crafting a shelter, building a bed, getting some tools. So we've gone ahead and built a box, which frees up our inventory space. We can move some heavy stuff off or just kind of move everything. This way when we die, we're out exploring as we're kind of very new to things. We don't necessarily have to go back and get our body. All of our valuables are in that box. Frees up some of our carry weight and just helps us keep moving forward. The raptors are still here, but they're kind of guarding the trees. I'm not quite set up to fight the raptors yet. I'm hoping they get a little distracted. No, they saw me. Darn. They're very fast. I'm not nearly as fast as the raptors. Probably going to die here. Gonna have to live with that reality. I am delicious. So, we're gonna go back to the spawn, kind of take a second, get our bearings, and just figure out where are we? Where have we woken up? Okay, so again, the raptors are between us and our body, but we've done this before. If you've done it once, you can do it again. We're gonna take our time and just kind of work our way over. It's important in ARK, I feel like, to set some small goals for yourself. Right now, our only goal is still to craft a shelter, build a bed, get some tools, survive the night. These are just really good, just kind of opening goals that can kind of help us try and move in a positive direction. Maybe you don't really like the idea of, you know, sitting down to open up your game and setting some goals. Hey, go crazy, that's okay. But if you're really truly new and you're already a beginner, I think there's a lot of value in saying, hey, that mountain over there, I want to climb it. Hey, I see that there's a way to craft a new item, I want to craft that. And just take some time diving in how to do that. Right now, our goals are very simple. We're trying to survive the night. We're gonna have a lot more success surviving the night if we have a bed and a little shelter and some better tools to help us get there. You can see in the top left corner, it's about to be 12 noon. So we're about to be in a position where the day's about half over. I don't love the position we're in. We've done our best to try and farm as much resources as we can. Man, I think he's gonna get me. He's just too quick. Oh no. Darn you, raptor. All right, so we're gonna try again to get back. Now, last time you might have noticed there's a dolphin, okay, and there's a shark kind of in front of us, so we're gonna be a little bit careful. There's gonna be a learning curve to learning kind of what these animals are and if they're dangerous. The dolphins aren't immediately dangerous, but we are going to make sure we drag our body back to shore and harvest it, as we have just become a great source of hide and meat, which is just scrumptious. So, nothing wasted, nothing lost, nothing wanted. We are going to go ahead and make sure that we can kind of get out of the water. Look around for raptors before we feed them another snack. I mean, the raptors are these are going to be some fat raptors before we leave this beach. Or we're going to kill them. Those are the only two outcomes I like. All right, we didn't get any hide. Oh well, we got some meat. What do I know? Listen, we're going to drop the implant. We don't need it, and we're going to make our way back towards forward progress. Get out of the death loop. We're gonna eat some berries, make sure we're feeding our survivor. We're gonna try and just chop down another tree. Remember, every second you're alive, you get a little XP. Every second you're harvesting, you're crafting, you're killing, we are getting experience points. Sometimes it feels like we're not getting anything done, but the reality is we are. This is taking a lot longer. I have to run all the way around the rocks to get back to my base, but the raptors are a problem that I don't have the tools to deal with right now. So, we've placed our second foundation. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Took longer than I wanted, but we're moving in a positive direction. We've died a few times. That's okay. We've learned some things, and we've tried to do a little better the next time. We're going to go ahead and keep harvesting what we can and try and get some more of the resources we need to build a little bit of shelter, as having shelter is going to make it a lot easier to survive the night. So again, we're using the raptors. Raptors, darn you, raptors. Ah. Oh my goodness. Did you see my dodo died? All right. We lost our dodo. Very sad. So, if you didn't catch the death message, which happens sometimes, you get back to your base and you go, hey, where did my favorite tame go? Where did my bestest buddy old pal go? Oh my goodness, they're dead? Is that possible? Who stole my dodo? It was the birds. The ick birds. The ichthyornises, they killed my dodo. You can go to the tribe log and you can see. Vadd was killed by raptor. Vadd was killed by raptor. Oh look, your dodo was killed by an ichthyornis. Darn you, ichthyornis, it's the ick birds. So, a lot of the times, it might feel like all you've done is build a couple of foundations and you have nothing else to show for it, and that's really okay. In a lot of ways, just remember, you're a beginner. It's new. It's okay to have these setbacks. We have some foundations, and we also have some skills to move us forward in a positive direction. I think it's time to pick a fight. I think we're going to really have a setback here if we can't get rid of those raptors. You know, we have the megalodons in the ocean, the raptors on the beach, the ick birds in the sky. It's just a little too much. We got to take out one of them to try and move forward. And I think the raptors are going to be our best bet. There's this little crack here, little crevice, little hole in the terrain. We're going to use the terrain to our advantage if we can. We're going to get their attention and we're going to try and jump the gap. Oh, we made it. All right, one down, two. Okay. Whew, we made it. Okay, okay. Come on, stay down there, raptors. No, 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 no. Come on, eat some spear. You know you like it. So we've kind of got them in a bad way. We're going to go ahead and just clobber them here, and then go ahead and harvest their hide and meat. Oh man, that took like forever. So that's why you always make a couple of spears. They have a risk of breaking. We're going to be able to kind of really move the ball forward here on our shelter because we are trying to survive the night. There's some other things we're going to try and look at to survive the night, just in case we aren't going to be able to get our shelter done in time. But with the raptors off the beach, we have a little bit of breathing room. We're going to go back and craft our first wall. So part of making a shelter to survive the night is we need foundations. Everything's built on them. And then walls snap to foundations. We can craft foundations right from our hotbar here, right from the toolbar, the action bar here. Okay. We're going to craft the walls right from the action bar. We're going to cycle through. We could also make them into doors, into windows, into kind of a different variety of door if we want a taller door. That's some fun variety. We need to put down walls. They snap to foundations. And then on top of the walls, we will snap a ceiling. And that's really going to make this place feel a little bit more secure. It's important to understand in ARK that dinos actually are aggressive generally on line of sight. So it's not that this wall is actually protection because they can't break it, but it's protection because they can't see that we're in here. If you can't see it, they don't know it's there, and you have a lot of safety. So we're going to go down and put down a few more wall pieces. Just try out some of the different varieties. You don't need to build this shape. There's nothing special about it. It's just a basic box, nothing tricky here. So for the ceiling, I didn't quite get the top snap point, so I'm going to jump and see if I can get it then. Oh, there it is. Nice. Okay. One more. And then we'll just need one more. So you could have built something a little smaller, maybe just one height up and saved a lot of resources, but I wanted to build this, so I did. That's how it goes. It's my game, play it my way. It's your game, play it your way. So next up, we're going to craft a campfire. It requires flint and thatch and wood and stone. Kind of a lot of different ingredients, but it's something that is we don't quite have our shelter completed. It'd be another tool we could be using to try and survive the night. So go ahead and snap on the campfire. Campfires are really great because number one, they provide warmth, okay, and light. They require fuel to provide that fire, so we're going to give it some wood, but also campfires will also cook meat, and they'll provide charcoal for us, which is kind of a mid-game resource, and that's something we really need to worry about today. Listen, our shelter's coming along really well. It's taken a lot more time than I expected it to, but that's kind of how these things go. We're going to put the last of the roof on. We still need to put through some doors and windows, but I feel like we're making pretty good progress here all around. So doors are their own separate piece. A door and window is from the same engram, the same crafting group. We just need to kind of select them and hover over those options because, you know, we might have a floor and a roof and a ceiling and walls and whatnot, but until we kind of fill some of these holes in we've made, we don't really have a shelter. You'll know you have a shelter because we're actually going to get a house buff. There'll be an icon on our screen. I'm going to point it out when we have that. So right now we haven't quite sealed off the front. The whole house is just wide out and open, but we do have 3 corners of our space where dinos cannot actively just look in and see, hey, there's something tasty I'm going to eat. So blocking that visibility actually is a level of security that does have some value. That doesn't mean you can go punch a T-Rex and run home. They'll go right through these walls, right? So notice here in this back corner, we don't have the house buff yet, but on the right side of the screen, we're going to get the house buff just here. Even though we haven't sealed off all the windows, even though we left a big hole, we have the house buff. That means if we stand in this corner right now, we will survive the night, assuming we don't starve. We need to feed your guy, you know, water your guy, but we're going to be able to survive. We haven't quite sealed everything off, but we have a shelter that provides the house buff. If we seal this front side, the entire interior will provide that house buff, and the house buff is what makes the shelter a shelter. You might have noticed a green beacon has come down. These beacons are loot, kind of supplies, kind of crates. I put down a few foundations for speed, and we're gonna go check this one out. They have different varieties of what can be in there. Usually it's worthwhile to go check these out, and this is a great goal you might set for yourself. You might say, I'm gonna go pick up, you know, today I'm picking up every beacon I see, and just go explore and find some beacons. They spawn in and set locations from time to time, but we have to be level 15 to open a green one. So we're gonna go ahead and spend 1 more of our skill points in to, it looks like weight and maybe health and stamina, and we'll see if we can open it up. So we got a whole bunch of resources. We got some saddles as well as blueprints. Blueprints are an ability to craft something a little better than what we could otherwise craft ourselves. So it's definitely worth picking this up. It's getting close to night. Can you tell? We're actually freezing to death. In the lower right, you see the red glow, the red kind of shadow around that status effect. Any status effects with that red outline means you are actively losing health and you are going to die. You should do something about that. So it's actually very, very cold. So we have hypothermia. Our health is going down. And if we don't find shelter, we will just die. So we're going to step back into the corner of our base. We're going to get our health buff. And that is going to move it from hypothermia, right? The red buff to cold. Again, we have the hypothermia. We can hold a torch. And that's going to be another way that we can kind of sneak by. We could also put on some clothes. I'm just not interested in doing that, so we're not doing that. But that'll be another option. Notice the torch kind of saves us. Again, the torch has a new feature in ARK Survival Ascended. I don't know who designed this, how this passed any quality checks, but it's an option. In addition, there is the campfire. You thought I forgot? Of course not. We can light the fire. It'll take a second on the campfire. We'll stand a little bit close to it. We'll move away from the red hypothermia where we are going to die and move into the cold zone where we are going to survive. We're a little cold and that's okay. We're just surviving. So we have several really major ways we can survive the night. Success. So let's work on getting some better tools still. We've got a few more tools we haven't really talked about. The wooden club is important. It's a great tool for knocking things unconscious and getting new friends. And I just want to show this as well before I completely forget. The house buff is everywhere inside now. We closed off the whole house because there's something out here. It's the ick birds, the ichthyornis, and we're not going to mess with them. They're very dangerous to us right now. As long as they can't see us, they don't know that they could try and fight us. So we're going to get the club. We're also going to go ahead and pick up the bed. Sleeping bags are one-use things. We're going to go straight to the sleeping bed, okay, the simple bed. Now when we die, we have an opportunity to, instead of spawning in randomly, we can spawn in right here at this bed, which is a huge benefit. We could also make a base across the island and try and jump between beds. They are fast travel points, but you can't bring items. Mortar and pestle, as well as the consumable narcotics for taming. We're going to grab the bola, the bow, and the stone arrows. These are in probably the small crop plot too. These are all important kind of tools to kind of help move our tribe forward. Mortar and pestle is a crafting table. It's going to allow us to craft the narcotics. These are tranquilizing supplies for taming. They require in the recipe spoiled meat. So we're going to split the meat stack by all so that they all spoil together. We're going to throw that in the other ingredients in and start crafting the narcotics. It's very important we do that. It's good XP, but it's also kind of the next step of progression. Notice in the club, it takes like one hit to knock this dodo. Clubs do great toper damage. It's time to set some new tribe goals. We've crafted a shelter, built a bed, we've got good tools. Our next goal is going to be to grow our own food, to tame one flyer, one swimmer, and one carnivore. We're going to try and tame a dolphin. It is a passive tame, so we're here underwater killing some fish because that is what they like to eat. We're going to take the fish once we kill it. We're going to put it on the last slot of our hotbar. Now, passive tames are kind of tricky, so we built a trap. We're just going to try and lure the dolphin into it. Generally, the dolphins are pretty interested in what you have going on when you're out there swimming around. So we've got a dolphin that we're going to try and get into our trap. We're going to feed him. We really should have waited until he was in the trap and then just kind of shut the door on him. We just put down some really simple, just wooden gates. Nothing fancy here. Wood is the tier above thatch when you're building. Above wood is stone. Above stone is metal, and so on. But wood's going to be plenty to get this done. They're not going to do the trap. It's going to be a little bit of a hassle to try and swim after them. I'm moving the trap a little bit just to see if I can't get a little more space for the dolphin to swim in, just out to where they seem to be hanging out. Not super necessary, but if I can get one more feed in once it's hungry, we don't have to knock out a passive tame. We just need to have that food in that last slot of our hotbar. Of course, once we have a fun tame, we want to make sure we get the saddle. The saddle is going to go onto the saddle slot in their inventory, which is going to allow us to ride the dino. So, we officially have our first swimming tame. It likes to eat some fish meat, so we're going to give it food. Remember to feed your tames. We want them to stay hungry. Now, if we want to finish the other dolphin tame, we'll need to put more fish meat back on our last slot on the far right of our hotbar here. Yeah, it looks like it was a little too shallow. I need to build this a little deeper. Live and learn. Notice When around here building, sometimes I'll build a storage bin, which has me, you know, be able to construct things a little easier. I put in some supplies and I'll kind of go back and forth from there. I'm pretty excited about this dolphin tame, but I actually got the other dolphin in the trap while we were kind of removing some of the gates and adding a few to the deeper water. So we're going to go ahead and offer this guy the last bit of food here that he should need. They'll have 2 dolphins. It's always great to have a male and female pair if you can. Then you have an opportunity to breed your tames and get a 3rd tame at, you know, little or no cost to you. We're kind of stuck on a rock here. Notice when we get in and out of the water that we're wet, so we're colder. So we go in between kind of hypothermic and not on our little, you know, are we dying or not little menu bar. Now, feeding troughs are very important. This is going to allow us to not have to, you know, as you play longer and longer, you're going to get more and more tames. We just need to put the food in the feeding trough that our tames like to eat. Now we're going to be able to just see, can they eat from the trough? Yes, everything inside of this green radius is going to be able to eat from this feeding trough, so we don't have to worry if our tames have food. We've done it. We have tamed successfully a passive tame, the dolphins here, and now we're going to work on growing our own food with the crop plots. So crop plots can be placed pretty much anywhere you want to. It doesn't have to be on a foundation. On a foundation, they'll snap. Those snap points are lovely. You can also stack them on top of each other, kind of build them next to each other. Crop plots need a couple of things to grow food. One of the first things they need is seeds. Seeds we've been getting a ton of. Every time we pick up a berry, there's a chance we pretty much pick up a seed. So we've got a lot of seeds right now. We're going to put a seed from our inventory into the crop plots inventory. And then we're going to go to our dodo friends. And the dodo friends have been doing the doo-doo, which we're going to need to properly maintain our plants, because we love just kind of getting our plants fertilized. This is going to help our plants. So you can see if you look at the box here, it needs water, seed, and fertilizer. It has the seed, it has the fertilizer, and it's actually raining right now, so it does say that it has water. However, we don't want to have to rely on the rain, so we're going to go ahead and build a stone water intake as well as a stone water tap. This is going to allow us to irrigate our own plants. This is a very important mechanic to understand. Once we place the stone water intake near actual water, it's then going to have a zone just like the feeding trough where we can place a water tap and provide water for our crops as well as our survivors. Maybe we kind of build up somewhere and we get thirsty. This tap can be placed pretty much anywhere. It can snap into the box. It just needs to be close enough to the box that, you know, the game's happy. So you don't feel bad if it's a little ways away or the water doesn't fall directly out from the water tap into the crop plot. Not a big deal. Now we have a crop plot that's growing food for us. It's got seed, it has fertilizer, and it's irrigated. So even if it doesn't rain for a few days, they're still going to keep growing. Now, this water intake has a pretty large radius here. Again, we're going to show the range, and you can see, just like with the feeding trough, instead of a green circle, there's kind of the shield. Everything inside that shield will get water. So we can go ahead inside our house and get running water. How exciting is that? Are we surviving now or what? You started this video a beginner, but you're quickly becoming really established here. Let's go back and buy a bola. And by buy, I mean spend our upgrade points on learning how to do a bola, because bolas are fantastic. If it has 2 legs, often you can bola it. You're going to see a little green check mark. And now they can't move. We've tied up their legs, which is lovely, but we want to knock them out with our club, but it's maybe we're not, you know, sure we're going to have enough time or we're going to mess it up. So we're going to build a little trap here just with these wooden pillars. So we'll push one pillar just beside them and just kind of work these snap points around them. Wooden pillars are, again, just woods 1 tier above thatch. So as you continue to level up, you're going to unlock more engram points to learn new skills, and one of them is wood. So we're into the wood tier. Nothing tricky there, nothing fancy. It's a very cost-effective basic. You could carry this around in your pocket. So next time those raptors go to jump you, whip out that bola and just tie them up and run, or tie them up and beat them down. So this is a knockout tame. So instead of a passive tame, we just need to assert our dominance by breaking our tool. We'll be back. Don't worry, raptor. We've got more of these. So we are going to knock this raptor out. The raptor is a carnivore, so that means we're going to feed it meat once we knock the raptor out. It's going to take a little while. This isn't the most effective way to tame things. We're going to talk about that in a little bit here. But once the raptor's unconscious, we'll have access to their inventory and we can become friends. We're going to give them the meat. If they start to wake up, we've got narco berries. We've been crafting narcotics as well, so we've got options to take care of them. Raptor saddles. Really easy to make. Nothing new or fancy there. We have our first carnivore. Very exciting. We're going to go ahead and put the saddle on the saddle slot from their inventory. And we have some mobility. We're a little more dangerous. We can fight other raptors. We can jump. We can explore. Love to have a good raptor. Arrows. Arrows, trank arrows, bows, mortar and pestles, narcotics. Is it sounding familiar? Remember the mortar and pestle? I said, hey, make sure you put your narco berries and your spoiled meat in crafting these narcotics. That's because we're going to make a bow. Okay. We're going to make a stone arrow, and we're going to take those narcotics, and that's going to allow us to craft trank arrows. These trank arrows are going to be a superior tool to taming dinos. We can hit them from a distance, and we can knock them unconscious much more efficiently and effectively than the club. Pteranodon's a flyer. It's one of the first flyers you're going to get access to. It's not the only flyer, but it's definitely a good one. 2 arrows and it's down. Now we're going to be able to put the meat in its inventory. If it's going to wake up, we can always give it the narcotics. Pteranodon saddles do require that chitin keratin, which we can get from turtles. We got some from a trilobite, so it's a little bit of a trickier resource, but not too hard to get our hands on the beaches. We have our first flyer. We're coming here at the end of day 2 into day 3. We're off the ground. We have a water tame, we have a carnivore, we've tamed a herbivore with a dodo, we've got a flyer, we have shelter, we've grown our own food. You, my friend, you are still maybe new to ARK, but this beginner guide is going to get you on your feet and in a position to go and explore and to find the adventures you want to have. If you like this video, click like. YouTube channel members to support what I do. And as always, thank you very much for watching this video here. I'm Vadd, and I'll see you here next time.